Hello, this is teddygaming and welcome back to another review on the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the TMNT UK Magazine's issue number 1. So yeah, it's going to be a little bit weird with this review just because I'm going to be doing one of the stories in this magazine just because the other story that was in this magazine was the 2007 issue number 1 for Raphael. So I've already done that on my channel before, so there's no point me doing a review about it. So I'm going to be doing a review on the Fast Forward comic, and I don't really see much point in taking a look at all the puzzles and games and stuff like that in this magazine just because who really cares about that stuff. But the Fast Forward magazine story in this one is pretty interesting for a variety of different reasons. Okay, so first start the story off with Turtles and Cody. They're going to this galactic extreme event thing, and basically Cody has been building these hoverboards and he's going to be showing them off here at this event. And in this scene we do get to see some interesting things. One, Raph gets pretty annoyed by the main star called Zip as he thinks that he could do a better job if he was on like a normal skateboard. And then it gets really interesting as Mikey brings up the Battle Nexus, and I know that shouldn't be like a big thing whatsoever, but at the same time it just doesn't really seem like the kind of thing which the UK magazine would do. It just feels as though it would just be like a pointless reference of anything. I mean, I could understand if I did this in the actual main comic book series if I did do one, but to have this in a magazine, it just feels weird, but at the same time I'm so grateful that it's in this bit. So after that we do get to see Raph. He pushes Mikey into some boxes, and when Mikey wakes up he does see Zip, and Zip talks to Cody about how he should not stay in trouble and stuff like that. So then that's when Zip goes off to go and get ready for the tournament, and Leo and Don says to Cody, Raph and Mikey, go get the seats while me and Don will go get the food. And that's when we do get to see off in the distance, we do get to see this shapeshifting alien. He transforms into Zip and then goes off to go and get Cody. And then when the fake Zip comes over, he kidnaps Cody and then runs off. We do get to see Mikey and Raph running after him, and they go through buildings, and that's when they decide to get some hoverboards and take her to the sky. Now this bit here, I must admit, it's pretty cool to see this fight scene take place here, just because we didn't really get to see many fight scenes like this until history, or even in Fast Forward. So I must admit, I do find this fight to be very creative and really fun here. And the only problem which I really got to say with this is the fact that this whole fight scene is really short. And if anything, the whole story is really short. But I can't really blame the story just because this magazine was only designed to be a 10-page story type thing. So I can't blame it too much. But at the same time, I just wish that I did a lot more of it, just because I do feel too that they had so much good stuff going on in the story that they could have made it into a really great thing. But you know, it is what it is, and at least we've got something out of it. So during the sky battle, we do get to see Zip. He does get out some bombs and throws them. Mikey goes down, but Raphael, he jumps off his hover bike and then jumps onto Zip's. And yeah, there's not very much I can really say here. He gets Cody, and then Zip is taken down, and that's pretty much it for the main conflict of the issue. So after that, we do get to see all the characters are just talking and just, you know, the aftermath and all that, and it was okay, I want to say. We do get to see Constable Biggles, which I must admit was pretty cool. Shame that this is the only appearance he does make in this comic book series, but at least we have him in the series, at least. But at the same time, it would I don't really know what to really say. It's just so cool to have him in here, but at the same time, I wish he was in it a lot more, but yeah. And we do get to see Raph ask Constable Biggles if there is any prize money for taking down the shapeshifter, but Constable Biggles says that there isn't, and Raph does get a prize in the end, and it is the new hoverboard which Cody was going to show off, and that's pretty much it for the story. So I must admit, overall, I do think that this story is pretty good and really great, but I don't know if that's just me saying that because I grew up on this story and have so many childhood memories with it, or if I'm just saying it just because I generally do like it. I do think that this story does really fit into the whole fast forward vibe of things, and I do think that it works really well, and I do like how they are taking stuff from the show and really incorporating it into this comic and story, and it really does work, and I do think that it uses it to its full advantage, and even using some of the characters such as Serling and Constable Biggles, again I do think that's using it to its advantage, and I feel like that's really great. The artwork for this issue is also really great as well, just because later on in the series there are a few artists, shall we say, that don't really have the best artwork for like a fast forward comic, but it's still pretty interesting. But I do think that overall for this issue, the artist that did this one did a really great job. And I do think that you could tell that like it's definitely like the show art style, but at the same time you could tell that it's not the show art style enough to basically tell that it's not. And I don't know if that's a good thing or bad thing, but I do really enjoy the artwork, and I only wish that this artist had stayed on, did a few more comics for this series, but it's still pretty great nonetheless. And yeah, I don't really know what to really make of it, just because I do think that for the most part, most of the characters do look like how they are in the show, but some of them do look a little bit weird, depending on what like scene, but it's comics. And yeah, I must admit overall, this whole issue has been pretty great. I do feel as though that maybe I am saying that this issue is pretty great and good for a variety of different reasons, just because of childhood stuff, and I don't know if that's actually because I'm actually enjoying it. But I do think that reading it after, like nearly 10 years, or like nearly 20 years actually, it still does hold up pretty well, and I don't know what to really say about it. It's just so great, but again, I don't know if that's because of childhood stuff. And I do think that for a UK magazine, it does a really good job of what it's trying to do and just stuff like that. And if anything, I just wish they did a lot more of it. And I just feel as though I'm going to keep repeating myself over and over again with the same points that I've been making. But yeah. So yeah, let me know in the comment section below what you think about all this. Do you like this one? Do you not? Do you hate the fact that you didn't know about it? Just because I am quite curious, because I know that a lot of people don't really know about these stories. I know that like people who lived in the UK did know about these ones, but at the same time I'm not too sure how many of them are actually still watching Turtles and stuff like that. So I'm just very curious about all this, just because I know that if I grew up in America and I knew about all this, I would have been pretty pissed off because, you know, there's more fast forward content and stuff like that. But yeah, I must admit overall this whole issue's been off to a great start, and I'm really looking forward to doing all the other reviews for this series, just because they are pretty interesting for a variety of different reasons, and this one was off to a great start for the most part. But yeah, that's all we got to say about it. But yeah, that's it for today, guys. If you're some, please share, like, subscribe, and all stuff. Goodbye, yo, bye.